Well, let's talk further then about the testimony today given by the person identified only as witness A, a member of the police currently in a safe house. In fact, bring in retired Interpol Ambassador and security analyst Andy Mashaile. Good to have you back on the program, Andy. So we've got a different list of characters, if you will, introduced to these hearings today. Help us, in fact, locate the importance of this chapter in piecing together or perhaps even unraveling the web of alleged political interference, corruption and murder, as we've heard today, in the criminal justice system, particularly involving police members.
Very scary, Tembekile. Good evening to you and to your viewers. Witness A, you can tell, meticulous in the investigations, particularly extracting information from the devices known as cell phones that were recovered. And I am sure the linkages in the language that is used within law enforcement agencies, the linkages stretch a bit further than the ordinary spider web. I was shocked when I learned later on in the testimony or the evidence delivery by witness A, when he mentioned that a certain General Richard Shibiri tried to find out the evidence that they have at their disposal. And worst of all, or shocking me even further, was the brown envelopes story of the 3 envelopes for those individuals that were identified, one of them being a prosecutor, one of them being a magistrate. I was really shocked. I began to connect the dots to what Mkhwanazi was saying, and General Ntanta Mkhwanazi was saying, and concluded that yes, the substance in what General Ntanta Mkhwanazi was saying, given the evidence that's being delivered by all witnesses after him. Now, in this case, Tembekile,
right,
you have operatives on the ground.
And on that point, so just relating to General Shibiri and what witness A says were these 3 envelopes, which at this stage, the working assumption is they would have contained some sort of bribe or inducement. We're not quite clear yet on whether in that moment he understood this to be a direct attempt at bribery, right? But what it does do, according to the evidence heard today, is it takes us through, or gives us an idea, does it not, of what Mkhwanazi had alleged about how this web, once again, spreads right through every part of the criminal justice system. So an attempt then to bribe police officers, to bribe a prosecutor, and ultimately a magistrate, which is where the case would end up being heard.
Yeah, Tembekile, you know, it drains the life energy out of you when we learn that senior officers actually aim and participate in frustrating the ends of justice, delivery and administration of justice. When we are told that senior officers are involved, as we had in the evidence delivered by witness A, especially when you know those individuals as great men wearing uniform many years ago, and having had touched sides with them, and having had spoken with them, having had broken bread with them, it touches you deeply and moves you greatly when you realize that there is a defeating the ends of justice or defeating the administration of justice. It just leaves you breathless.
Do you think, though, Mr. Mashaile, that ultimately the erosion or the damage suffered in terms of public trust, public perception in the police service, the prosecuting authority and the magistrates as we continue on this path, do you think that can be reversed? Or are we looking at a scenario here where permanent damage will be done?
Permanent damage has been done. When you look at the perception, when you look at the general public sentiment, when you listen to a story that I'm going to tell you in 10 seconds, receiving a call yesterday from a family pleading that there's one person from a certain police station who's called them to say one of their family members is arrested. And that police officer calling the family saying, if you want me to help you, you've got to give me 5,000 rand. And if you don't, there wouldn't be any bail. And today, exactly that happened. It further made me angry. That particular woman was remanded in jail because the family did not pay that 5,000. So it further erodes. You know, when some of these things, it's like we're watching a movie.
And Mr. Mashaile, what's troubling, I think, from the anecdote that you're just giving us from personal experience yesterday, is that ultimately this form of bribery or soliciting bribes from members of the police service, perhaps, it starts from the smallest to the biggest cases, right? But I want to ask you about Katiso Katie Molefe, because he has been placed at the heart of the evidence today as perhaps the biggest benefactor of what we've been discussing, correct? He's currently out on bail of 400,000 rand in a different matter. That's to do with his alleged involvement in the murder of the Pretoria DJ somebody who was killed in a hail of bullets not that many years ago. How closely then should police be watching Molefe at the moment in relation to what's going on at the Madlanga inquiry?
I am certain that those who are investigating, as we heard, that further investigations are ongoing, or investigations are ongoing. I am sure that what we heard today would be cause enough for the investigations that is going on to effect an arrest based on what witness A was saying. I can see linkages there. And the investigators, I am sure they would want to interview Ntate Katie Molefe relative to what witness A was talking about. So it is not only a question of watching him closely, it is a question of inviting him or going to fetch him so that they can interview him and check the role and also determine if he should be incarcerated subject to the investigations that would be ongoing as a result of this evidence.
Andy Mashaile, thank you very much for speaking to us on the SABC this evening.